Hey y'all, welcome to our kitchen in beautiful Lafayette, Louisiana. I am Wendy Begnaud and I am here to cook for you some gluten-free delicious things today. And what we're going to make today are gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. These are made with coconut sugar that has a lower glycemic index than cane sugar, and I'm using cassava flour. Normally I use a rice flour blend, but I thought it was important to give something where you don't have to worry about the proportions or the percentages, and you know, it's hard to find something you can just do a straight substitution, and cassava flour is one of those things. If you're wondering why I have a glove on one hand, I have not turned into Darth Vader's ally here. I broke my thumb, so here I am. So let's get into chocolate chip cookies. So I have 2 sticks of salted butter that we're going to put in here. You can use salted butter if you prefer. I usually like the regular salted butter in a chocolate chip cookie, even though I'm going to add salt to the recipe, mainly because I don't like a super sweet cookie. I find the saltiness helps to bring out the chocolate flavor, and so that's what I do. And then to that, I'm adding a cup of coconut sugar. That goes in. And then we are going to whip this real quick. You can also put it in a stand mixer. You just want to whip up your butter and sugar so that the sugar starts to kind of melt into that butter. Using coconut sugar, your cookies will be a little bit darker, but it's all fine in the end. They'll be delicious, and that's really what matters. So I have turned up the speed just because I have no patience, and that way you guys can see the batter will lighten. So we started off with, I would say, light brown, and now we're at, I don't know, medium beige, somewhere in there. And so I'm going to add to that a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of milk powder, a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and a teaspoon of baking soda. So that all goes in. I talked to y'all about milk powder before. It gives a really good texture when you're baking and just kind of gives you a fuller flavor. And then I don't use baking powder in these. For me, a chocolate chip cookie, you want to kind of flatten and be sort of crunchy and chewy, and so baking powder, when you add it to baked goods, makes everything rise. Baking soda makes it spread. We're going to add honey, and this is a local honey. This is from a company called Wright Farms, and they have their bees in and around Gaydon, which is South Louisiana. It's a great little town. They have the Gaydon Duck Festival there. A lot of people love to hunt ducks there. They grow a lot of rice there. And also, this honey comes from there, and it is delicious. So wherever you may be, if you can't get Louisiana honey, get your local honey, because it's literal, actual honey from local places, and it can help you with your health because it'll have the pollen from the local plants in your area that, if you have allergies, can actually help bring your allergy situation down. But also talk to your doctor just to make sure. Okay, so we're going to add that into the butter, kind of blend it in, and then now I'm going to add 2 cups of cassava flour. I use Bob's flours, and the main reason I use Bob's is they're all certified gluten-free. They test their flours. They're in a separate facility. It's not made in a facility that also processes wheat. On the front, it is labeled gluten-free, so it says gluten-free on the front. And you may see that on other products. So what you have to do is flip it over to the back. And on the back of the Bob's bag, it says ingredient cassava, and it says where it's made, and it says manufactured in a facility that also processes tree nuts and soy. If it said made in a facility that also processes wheat and you have celiac disease, I would strongly recommend you not eat that. To me, that means there's a good chance that wheat is in there. You really want to make sure that when you have an intolerance, when you have celiac, when you have an allergy, double check the back of that bag just to make sure that it's really safe for you. And if you still have a question, find something else. just find something else. It's easier than getting sick, and it's not worth it. Okay, I just realized I forgot to add my eggs, but it's really not a big deal. Now there's gonna be some of you who are baking purists that are gonna go, oh my God, she didn't put the eggs. Don't freak out. If you add something in the wrong time, it may affect the texture a little bit, but at the end of the day, these are gonna be great cookies. So I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. 2 large eggs, and then we're gonna add some vanilla. And if you wanna make delicious vanilla, get vanilla beans and drop it in a bottle of bourbon. You don't have to get a big bottle of bourbon, but you know, a bottle of bourbon. And that makes the best vanilla of all. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of vanilla because I like a lot of it. Makes it delicious. Gonna blend this up real quick. And especially if you're using a hand mixer, keep turning your bowl. Keep it on the surface, keep one hand on it. We've got a fluffy looking dough right now, I think that's good. And then I have a cup of dark chocolate chips and a cup of semi-sweet chips. So we'll go straight in with those. And we're gonna just mix it up. If you want accurate measurements and your cookies to be the same size, grab a scoop. If you don't care, grab a spoon. It's whatever you want. Take the dough. Ideally, you would want to let this sit overnight. That way the flour will hydrate really well. That gives you a little bit better texture. I have some cookie dough that I made yesterday and I added some toppings. I'm going to show y'all that. But we're going to put these in the oven and then I'm going to grab the other dough and we'll come back in just a second. Okay, so these are some of the cookies that were pre-done, and you will see we used the big Guittard dark chocolate discs, and they are gluten-free, and these are smiley faces because that's how you'll feel when you eat these cookies. Big smile, right? Okay. So as soon as they come out of the oven, we'll eat a cookie in front of you, and that will inspire you to make some of your own. See you in just a minute. Okay, we got the cookies out of the oven. I only made 3, so I don't have to really share with anybody, so that's good. And they are still warm, and so we are taking them off onto the plate. It's not super soft. It's just tan or, you know, light brown on the bottom, so that way we know it's cooked. And then when you open it, we have that yummy chocolatey chocolate chip cookie that is delicious. It's a soft, gooey cookie. If you let it set up about 15 minutes, if you have patience like I don't, they will firm up as they cool. I bake these for about 11 minutes. You don't want to bake these till they're crunchy. If you're using like a rice flour, you'll go a little bit longer when you bake them. But there it is, an easy 1-to-1 sub for a gluten-free cookie. So y'all enjoy, let us know how yours come out, and we hope you have fun today. Thanks.